Our second video is going to focus on something very simple, Greek letters versus our normal Roman alphabet. And what do they mean? So to back up, the first thing we need to do is talk about population versus sample. A population is all the people to which you want to generalize. It's the whole big group. So if you want to generalize to female leaders, it's every female leader in the world. If you want to generalize to women who are CEOs in the US, it's just limited to the US. Now, you can do a study of a population, or you can do a study of a sample. So statistics are used on samples, not on populations. Terms are very specific. A population parameter, if you have all the data for the population, you don't need to do inferential statistics. You have the population parameters. Statistics are due to sampling. We have sample statistics, population parameters. So measures of the population are parameters, measures of the sample are statistics. And the population is everybody, and the sample is some group of people within that you think represents that. Now, in reality, it's really hard to get to this. In most situations, you can't do population parameters. So most of the time we're doing statistics because we are drawing from our statistics to make judgments about that population. Another word for judgment is an inference. That's why they're called inferential statistics. Our sample statistics allow us to make inferences, to make judgments about the population. But what we know is that those samples are imperfect. So there's some problems with our sampling. I'll get into that in video 3. But before I get into our different types of our statistical theory, I want to get into our different types of representations, because I got this question from somebody in your class, and I want to make sure that you see this. So we have Greek letters, and we have, I'm going to call normal or Roman, what we write in letters. And there are corresponding letters for both of these. So if we want, for example, the average, the mean, if we have everybody in the population, we use Greek letters. If we have a sample, we use normal letters. So for average, we use the Greek letter mu. For a sample, we use for average the letter M for mean. So mu is Greek M. M is our abbreviation for mean. For variance, we use lowercase sigma squared, representing that that's the squared deviation from the mean. And for variance of a sample, we use S squared. Sigma, lowercase s in Greek, and lowercase s in our normal. Well, standard deviation is simply the square root of sigma squared, so it would be sigma. And of course, if it's the square root of s squared, it is simply s. So standard deviation has two abbreviations. It's often abbreviated by SD or SD with a capital D. That's where you'll see it in articles, because for some reason that's what APA requires. But sometimes you'll see it as this in your articles. Sometimes you'll see it as this. Now, the average tells you the center point on average. where the typical person on average is. And then the standard deviation tells you on average how much people vary from that. Now, there's one more I want to talk about. And just for now, I'm just going to mention this. Significance in our population, in our theoretical idea, is abbreviated with our alpha. That's a theoretical idea. And in statistics, which you'll get in the next one, the statistical theory, we set our alpha level less than 0.05, and I'll explain that. Well, that's what we set ahead of time, and because it's theoretical, it's a concept like population, it's a Greek letter. Well, when we get to our statistics, we want to see P less than 0.05, and we use the letter P in statistics. So this gets you some of just a little bit of the notation to statistics. You will see things over here more often in the articles you read because we seldom get population parameters. These are theoretical concepts. We talk in general about the population, but like I said, we don't actually study the population, or very rarely study the population. One of the few things that does that, the US Census, a study of when we're doing statistics, we're looking at a sample. When we're studying a population, we're doing a census with a little c. The U period S period census with a big C is the study of everybody in the US. The term census is broader than just the US Census. It's just capital C for the US Census. So hope this helps you with your notation.